I'd like to share with you some resignation letters that two teachers have written and have made public. I feel that they speak to the rest of us of what the teaching community is going through right now. And I think many more would agree with these, but are afraid to lose their jobs. Gerald Conti, a veteran social studies teacher, writes, "This type of total immersion is what I have always referred to as teaching heavy, working hard, spending time, researching, and attending to details and never feeling satisfied that I knew enough on any topic. I now find that this approach to my profession is not only devalued, but denigrated and perhaps in some quarters despised. STEM rules the day, and data-driven education seeks only conformity, standardization, testing, and a zombie-like adherence to the shallow and generic Common Core, along with the lockstep of oversimplified, so-called essential learnings, creativity, academic freedom, teacher autonomy, experimentation, and innovation are being stifled in a misguided effort to fix what is not broken in our system of public education, and particularly not at West Hill. My profession is being demeaned by a pervasive atmosphere of distrust, dictating that the teachers cannot be permitted to develop and administer their own quizzes and tests, now titled as generic assessments, or grade their own students' examinations. The development of plans, choice of lessons, and the materials to be employed are increasingly expected to be common to all teachers in a given subject. This approach not only strangles creativity, it smothers the development of critical thinking in our students and assumes a one-size-fits-all mentality more appropriate to the assembly line than to the classroom." So says and writes Gerald Conti, a veteran social studies teacher. Mrs. Slider is a kindergarten teacher and writes this, "I have watched as my job requirements swing away from a focus on the children, their individual learning styles, emotional needs, and their individual families, interests, and strengths to a focus on testing, assessing, and scoring young children, thereby ramping up the academic demands and pressures on them. Each year, I've been required to spend more time attending classes and workshops to learn about new academic demands that smack of first and second grade, instead of kindergarten and pre-K. I have needed to schedule and attend more and more meetings about increasingly extreme behaviors and emotional needs of children in my classroom. I recognize many of these behaviors are the children shouting out to the adults in their world, 'I can't do this. Look at me, know me, help me, see me.' I have changed my practice over the years to allow the necessary time and focus for all the demands coming from above. Each year, there are more. Each year, I have less and less time to teach the children I love in the way I know best and in the way child development experts recommend. I reached the place last year where I began to feel I was part of a broken system that was causing damage to those very children I was there to serve. I am trying to survive in a community of colleagues who were struggling to do the same, to adapt and survive, to continue to hold on to what we could, and to affirm what we believe to be quality teaching for an early childhood classroom. I began to feel a deep sense of loss of integrity. I felt my spirit, my passion as a teacher, slip away. I felt anger rise inside me. I felt I needed to survive by looking elsewhere and leaving the community I love so dearly. I did not feel I was leaving my job. I felt then and feel now my job has left me. I hope that by sharing these letters, I've indicated to you, given you a sense of the top-down nature of Common Core. It is no longer a local decision about what the children are taught, when they're taught, how they're taught. It comes from the top down. And these teachers indicate that they have no choice now about what is being taught in the classroom. Now, many classrooms and teachers may say, well, I still have my choice. I still can tailor my curriculum, my teaching to the children in my classroom. We are seeing it more and more. We used to just hear it from California and from New York, but I think even here in the state of Wisconsin, we are seeing the iron claws, as I call it, of Common Core clamping down and rigorously enforcing the fact that it is the federal government that is in control. We do call these national standards, but the fact is the tests, the SBAC and PARC, are federally controlled tests. He who controls the test controls the curriculum. And the writers and those who are in charge of implementing Common Core have no tolerance for anybody who will not fit their one-size-fits-all education.